Ubisoft have just released their newest title update for Assassin's Creed Shadows, which includes their first partner collaboration, which includes a new questline, rewards, and gear for you to obtain in-game. So I'm going to break it all down for you in this video, as well as take you through the new gameplay changes so you can decide if it is worth downloading this title update. Now, the update itself is ready for you to download right now, and it is available for you to play, with the patch size itself coming in at 3.31 gigabytes on the PS5, with the Xbox Series X and S coming in at 19, the PC at 13 gigabytes, and Steam is sitting around 4.3 and the Mac on 9 gigabytes respectively, with this patch predominantly being focused around the new Dead by Daylight collaboration, as well as a big parkour and photo mode changes coming to your game as well. But let's first go through this new content, because if you didn't know, Dead by Daylight was a game released back in 2017, if I remember correctly, and that is a multiplayer survival horror game where you can play as one of the 4 survivors, or you can actually play as the killer character, with the group of 4 then hiding from that killer player, who then wants to sacrifice you on a hook to the antagonist in the game called the Entity. Now, this Entity feeds on the suffering and lost hope of all players, where after sucking all the life out of you, you eventually become an empty husk and you're kind of tossed into the void. So now you kind of know the story premise of this collaboration. You'll understand this questline more in Shadows, because one of your scouts in game disappears alongside villagers located in Harima, so you must investigate why this is happening and defeat this otherworldly threat, as Ubisoft describes it as. Now, this quest is completely free for you or everyone who owns the game, but you can only begin this quest line at your hideout and only after you've unlocked Yasuke as a playable character. So you're kind of looking at around 10 to 20 hours into the game, depending upon how you like to play. And the quest line itself takes around 15 to 25 minutes to complete with either character, with Nika recommending playing the first part of the quest with Naoe, as there's quite a little bit of parkour and stealth during the quest that does slow you down if you play as Yasuke, and then switch to Yasuke during the later stages of the quest, as the boss is quite tough and he does hit pretty hard. Now, once you've selected Naoe, there will be 3 sub-quests for you to finish to then complete this event, where you'll then pick up a couple rewards for doing so, and let's go through them together right now. Firstly, you'll pick up this Entity's Trinket by completing this event, which gives you a damage reduction after losing 40% health in 5 seconds, with no specifics on how much that damage reduction is in game, because we still don't have a stat page in Shadows. I desperately want them to add it in so we can actually understand what this stuff means. So it's definitely an easy pass for me in terms of a loadout selection right now, and it should be for you as well. You'll also pick up this Dead by Daylight inspired banner, which can be placed around your hideout if you're into that kind of vibe, or if you enjoyed the game. However, the rewards don't actually stop there, as you can pick up another trinket in this game, which is also available in this update, called the Winning Hand. Now, this is separate from this Dead by Daylight event, which can only be obtained by collecting trading cards from 5 specific port traders to acquire it, with Ubisoft stating in their patch notes, we'll have to figure it out together as a community. Well, good news, because Jabaka Donut has done all the heavy lifting. He's the head mod in our Discord community, and he's already found all of them for us. Invite in the description down below, by the way, if you want to talk about everything AC. And what I will do is I will put the location of each trader on your screen right now, where each card costs 100 mon, so 500 mon in total for the 5 cards at each of these vendors, with no storyline reference about them here in this game, unfortunately. However, these cards are inspired by the real-life Balatro poker-themed roguelike deck-building game, which may be familiar to those of you who have played that outside of Shadows. And once you do buy all 5 from these vendors, you'll automatically loot this Winning Hand trinket and amulet for either character, and this triggers a legendary perk that gives you a 20% chance to trigger a random affliction effect on combo enders, which isn't a bad choice if you actually perform combo enders. But I do need to do some more testing, admittedly, with this item before kind of giving you my recommendation on whether it's worth equipping. But what about the armor set and new mount Ubisoft have also advertised with this collaboration update? Well, I don't think you're going to be surprised to know this is the catch to this update, because the full Dead by Daylight set is only purchasable through the Helix store for 2,300 Helix credits, which equates to approximately 20 euros or dollars, and 15 pounds depending upon where you're playing in the world. Now, this set comes with a chest piece and headgear slot for both characters, a Tanto weapon for Naoe, and a Kanobo weapon for Yasuke. You'll also pick up a Dead by Daylight horse called Morris, and a trinket or amulet for both characters, of course. Now, I would like to break down this armor armor set for you and show you the build that they can kind of perform with their perks. But in my opinion, this set is absolute garbage in terms of performance, with the Konobo being a mild exception here. But for full transparency, I will put the perks of all the item pieces on your screen right now. But just as you know, as this is a microtransaction set, I honestly just can't fault Ubisoft for that, and then making this set super overpowered as a paid armor set, which would be wrong in my opinion, meaning you can kind of cheese the game for an additional $20. So even though the stats on this armor set are terrible, it's still kind of a good thing. So with that said, if you are a fan of Dead by Daylight, unlike this armor set, it may be a purchase that you will consider for a purely cosmetic nature, as you'll get a limited benefit from these weapon and gear perks. Now, if you're not interested in this set, you may be interested in some new gameplay updates, and let's go through them together right now. First up, if you didn't pre-order the game, then good news, because Ubisoft have made the pre-order quest Thrown to the Dogs available for you to play with this free update. Now, this quest will appear after you leave the Makinudera temple before you do arrive and unlock your hideout as Naoe, and this will kind of appear southeast of the hideout at the Tennoji temple, which is located here on your map. It takes you around 15 to 20 minutes or so to complete, and you'll pick up this lovely dog as a reward, which is worth your time, in my opinion, just for that. Now, Parkour Improvements. We have our first big update here with a lot of new stuff. Firstly, as long as your joysticks or directional inputs are maintained, so you're kind of pressing forward with your controller or your keyboard, sprint now doesn't disengage when you then parkour up and down buildings, so there is no need to kind of re-click or re-press sprint every time you do climb up something or climb down it, which is a great quality of life fix in my opinion. Secondly, Naoe and Yasuke now can perform a vertical jump, which means that you can now proactively reach and grab the majority of overhangs or ledges in the game without the need to perform that vertical wall running up that wall underneath the overhang. And I will just put a comparison on your screen from before this patch and after, thanks to Nika's capture here, which shows the real difference with this specific update. Thirdly, the distance of side and back ejects have been increased, which means the game prioritizes foot landings instead of hand grabs when side hopping across buildings. As you can see here, Naoe uses her foot to get to the top of this ledge instead of then swinging on this bar to then get to the top of the building. The benefit of this doing so is it's not only faster for you as you parkour around the game, but it also allows you to remain quite high up instead of having to then go down a building to then climb back up it. And before we move on to a few more updates that I think you need to know, if you are interested in keeping up to date on how Shadows in the Assassin's Creed franchise progresses this year, make sure you do subscribe, as I will be keeping you up to date in this no-nonsense fashion throughout the year on things that I think that you would very much like to know. So it would be great to have you along for the ride. Now, let's move on to Photomode changes, because we've got quite a lot to go through here. The very first of those being a variety of different filters added to your screen to change the vibe of your game, as well as several poses for Naoe and Yasuke, which are very much needed and very welcome in this update. And perhaps most importantly, a shed load of different facial emotes to flick through with a variety of different poses, as well as being able to actually toggle your headgear on and off for certain pictures in photo mode. That update is actually coming, or will allow us to do this in-game in cutscenes later on in the year. I'll let you know when that drops. But they've also added a option to turn on music in the world menu while in photo mode, which allows you to chill out to some Japanese beats while you spend time getting the right angle in game. And perhaps most importantly, ×2, I should say, they've added in a time of day slider here in this same menu, so you don't have to wait for the seasons to change in game to get the right lighting for your perfect snapshot. Finally, they've also added in a few frames that you can flourish with your snaps before you do export, as well as a new sticker colorization for you to mess around with here. And if you're playing on PC, you can actually max screen it in this full screen option. Hopefully we get that to consoles in the future. But let's move on to important bug fixes that you need to know about this game. Firstly, the new item modification in your inventory has been removed, which is awesome, as I know a lot of you found that super annoying, including myself. So if it isn't working for you and you're still getting this notification spam when it shouldn't be there, please do let people know down in the comments, as I think it's been apparently fixed across 3 different updates now in the last few months. They've also nerfed the money economy for rebalancing purposes, apparently. So the Samurai Daisho and Ronin, as an example, give less money when you kill them, with the justification being to encourage more world exploration instead of purchasing crafting materials and resources, or hideout resources, directly through merchants. So I'm not sure that's a good call for players because it's basically just increasing grind mechanics for less money. It sounds like to me there, but I'll do some testing and I'll get back to you. But the good news here is they fixed a shed load of quests in this game, which I will link down below in the description for you if you want to check that out, as well as visual and stability improvements across the whole game, which is always welcome to hear, especially the hideout, which has got less and less terrible with every title update, which is a good thing in my opinion. Now, if you have liked this no nonsense breakdown, then I think you're going to like this video as well, where I take you through all the awesome hidden secrets and Easter eggs and shadows. So click that video on your screen right now and I will see you there in just a second. Big thanks to Nika, Jabak and Donut and Pedder for helping me make this update video for you. Coffee or sake is on them and I will catch you in that next video in just a moment.